What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Giving Truth, the Conscious Ninja, fusing consciousness and ninjutsu together to find the pathway, the middle way. Topic today is gang stalking and being a targeted individual. What gets you on the list? What are the types of tactics they use to subvert you? What are the main obligations to this kind of evil kind of contingency against you? Who are your allies? Who are your enemies? Is it possible that they use demonic forces to entrap people? Is the point of this to kill off the people who are willing to change the people around the world? That's the focus for today. It seems that for me, I've been going on 4 years now dealing with this targeted individual situation right now. And I believe it's bullshit that you deal with this kind of shit from these motherfuckers. Now, you can call it mass hysteria, but there's got to be documented evidence of this. Who would conduct such operations like this? Is it clandestine? Is it a black op? What is the objective over this? It seems that the overall objective is to discredit the people who are willing to bring change through revelations that they bring to their own forethought and the people around them. It seems that people have problems to deal with every day, and we all have a problem at some point in life. Otherwise, life would not be the same without obstacles. But it's to challenge you to make yourself better, goals that must be achieved. The overall arcing objectives, you might guess, might be: 1, discredit the target. Overall, make them less prone to post, say on social networks, or if they may be that, then they might have overall goals of keeping you out of the mainstream. You wonder if targeted individuals ever become wealthy. Say someone subverts you with discrediting disinformation and counterintuitive information to the masses. You believe that, what is the cause of this? Well, I deal with something in particular. What seems to be a satellite overhead that beams a laser of some sort that can alter the air around it to cause an attack. And on top of that, basically an illusion that is created that is meant to create depression around you and make you feel as if you're not worthy when in fact you are. I tell you, targeted individuals are some strong people. By far, the unique, like most people should know. While everyone follows the sheep, the wolves always know when to dine, for the fear of their demise is not always seen. But being a wolf that helps the sheep is different. Knowing the difference, and I'm not talking about in sheep's clothing. Definitely not. What I've seen from this overall thing that's been happening, it seems that a lot of people are targeted. 10,000? You got to find the origins of what targeted individuals were. They might put you in a mental asylum to discredit you. They might try to make you lose your job, and it's a possibility. They want to cut off your monetary fund. Any type of way of discrediting you. It seems that life is hard for people, and it's definitely not easy. Dealing with this from the day to day, you feel like there's a grind to it, and they're also making their own objectives, plans for you, and you want to plan your life. You want it to be controlled by someone else that has no best interest for you. You want to see the overall opportunities and how to be positive, feeling a blessed life. Things like that can come into fruition for you. What I see from this targeted individual situation is, how did you get targeted? You must have posted something online that must have caught the eye of potentially the U.S. government or whatever acting shadow entities that might overall want to subvert the conversation. It seems like life is difficult for a reason, and people are always out to make it harder for you. But if you realize that you have the strength and the fortitude and the will to do so, you can overachieve. and always be able to be humble. That's a very important factor. Your humbleness will make you stronger. Don't let people just try to discredit you if you know you're spitting facts, because truth is more powerful than lies. Even though lies may convince some people, you won't convince them all. And they feel as if using the Hitler effect, where Hitler used to make lies up and then say them a whole bunch of times and repeat it to try to get people to believe it. But otherwise, you realize that this situation is hard to deal with from the day to day. You wonder if it's a black operation project, something that tells you this is meant for me, apparently. What I deal with from the day to day is hearing all types of shit, crazy shit. And then from time to time, you see people who seem to be controlled, opposition against you. You realize that these people that are seemingly controlled opposition are, in a way, in it, as if they're used and they don't have a mind, as if they sold their soul. But they don't really realize it, maybe. It all depends. It's a battle between angels and demons, gods and devils. And you realize this is the battle that you've been looking for, a spiritual battle. We fight against principalities of the most high evil, and we must be able to contain ourselves and be able to change this revelation. Things like that can be difficult. From the time to time, your base to base, you can see where your life goes. Where am I going in my life? How can I achieve? What I've found out is that it's best to try to locate these people who are the originators, the overall project against you. As I said, truth is strong, lies are weak, but tell them enough times, you'll see what happens to people. The altering of the mind, cognitive dissonance, how people accept certain facts rather than knowing the whole entire truth. It's a devastating situation to be in. When you look into the whole overall objectives of the U.S. government, it basically benefits them to discredit people who would others speak out. A whistleblower, if you will. You realize that people of this nature are willing to go above and beyond what others won't. And if you see that, you realize that sometimes it's necessary. And you need to be a leader, not a follower. What I want is leaders that can lead and leaders that know how to follow without being just followers. You can't be someone that subjugates yourself to a lower status. You're a high-level being, energy being, spiritual in nature, physical in reality. Your anatomy is based off of the genetics of God. You should never forget that. It's important to always see with an open eye, meaning the third eye, what you can see and what is unseen to the most people. If you see that this world is subjugated or under the entrapment of an evil force, you realize that the higher you get in power, the more likely you become evil. It seems that way, or willing to do dastardly deeds that would otherwise misguide people. And it seems that they think this is the best way. If you think about the CIA, they say that what they want the American public to be basically is to not know anything. They have them confused by all this information. But you got to seek the truth. It's important to speak the truth and be bold, sure in your movements and forethought. You must be able to be precise and decisive. These factors come into play. I'm a former military Navy veteran, and I've realized that with my clearance and all the information I've seen from all the different types of tactics they use, they're willing to create all types of deceptions that would otherwise misguide the people to control them better. You realize, why would someone consistently be evil? Don't you live less when you're evil? Well, they feel as they gain power, and it's all about a power grab. Power-hungry people that don't know when to stop and control themselves. Self-control is key. You must be willing to see the truth. As I've seen from my past, I've seen that people are willing to go so far as to lie about what your name is and drag your name through the dirt. You need to realize the tactics that they use. If you look into say national security keywords, you realize these keywords make you a potential targeted individual. And you realize that the whole point of a TI is being opposition towards a certain faction that would otherwise have the overall arcing control and the monetary backing to maintain that power structure. You threaten the power structure. That's why you're targeted. What would make you a target, say? You don't even have to talk about terrorist acts. You can just bring up how the government's debt is piling up and they never tend to try to pay it off. Or you can talk about space program or the other black budget projects that otherwise are unseen from the naked eye from the U.S. public. You got to wonder, what are they willing to do? I mean, they create all types of weapons, and this is another weapon that they're using. Be concerned for your, say, well-being and your safety, but be sure of yourself. In times like this, we must find allies, and we must be strong. We must stand together against the evil and the deceit of the people who were willing to conduct this kind of operation. You must be able to see with the forethought and insight of our ancestors and the past leaders of the history that you've seen and read about. Make sure you know the difference between good and evil, because that's the key to the knowledge of truth. If you know the difference between good and evil, you're able to see what you couldn't see before. There's the naivety, and then there's the absoluteness. You must be able to willingly push yourself to the limit and be able to still push out truth whenever it can be. And it must be able to feed your good nature and not an evil nature. For if you feed the evil wolf, you become the evil wolf. For if you feed the good wolf, you become the good wolf. It is all about your nature. And this all comes down to the human nature. What is threatening to you? You kick into survival mode when that happens. TIs must be able to recognize that problems arise when they speak out. You must be strong. Whether you believe in some higher deity or something of that nature, it is good to always have, for you are blessed, and have faith in what is capable of what you can do. A lot of things are difficult in these days. Some people talk about end days, end of time, the coming of Christ. These days, we look upon and see the 4 horsemen signs. We see plague, pestilence, death, war, and we see it all around us. But in reality, we must be able to see without being clouded judgment. People must be willing to go above and beyond to see what is the nature of God and what is the nature of Christ. Believe in yourself, people. I believe in you. You know what? I believe that going to the root of the cause is to find out where, who, and what is the objective. Finding where they can be and located at. What are they trying to accomplish? Who they are. What are the forces behind darkness? It's things like this that must hone you, strengthen you, create true purity in you. And these things that you see are definitely aptitudely considered as tools. You can definitely utilize this to your advantage. It's people like me and people like you out there who deal with the day-to-day grind that has this constant obstacle in your face where they want you to give up, but never give up. Never fall, never falter, never fold. Know these things to be true, and you will be stronger. It's people like us that realize this is what we stand for. We stand for truth, justice, unity. These things that you must be willing to journey upon and take the path to the middle way. All is good in the life whenever you see the light. Truth be told. Consider what can be better. Consider what can be difficult. Consider where your life can be in 4 years. Things change in a year, you know. They really do. Put in that effort for 6 months and you realize that your life can easily change. No matter how hard it may be. And realize that you are a chosen one. And there are many of them out there. and few in number.